You know, after the first ruse, I watched, I dissected, I waited for a little bit before I made my opinion public to all of you. And I came to the conclusion on night one, I'm like, this isn't really feeling like an injury. It feels like a work. I dissected that spot, the moonsault on LA Knight that ultimately missed, and he goes down, he clenches his knee, he loses the match. July 12th, Seth Rollins got injured in a losing effort to LA Knight. Days go by, no diagnosis, no real story about his injury, and I'm like, something doesn't smell right here. Something definitely feels off. Obviously, we got the ruse of the century at SummerSlam, where he cashed in on CM Punk and won the World's Heavyweight Championship after CM Punk wrestled a 30-minute match with Gunther in the main event of night one. Now we're doing it all over again. And a lot of people, including me, initially, are thinking, is this yet another ruse? Now, looking at this compared to the LA Knight match on July 12th, I thought that one was a work. Immediately, I said, something feels off here. That feels like a work. I am not feeling that same way now. In fact, I'm feeling like this is a legitimate injury. And now we have updates on Seth Rollins. The injury, according to sources, is legit and will require surgery. So WWE, as of Monday, we may be looking at a show without a World's Heavyweight Champion. So where do we go from here? What does this mean for War Games? What does this mean for the top of the card, the main event scene on Monday Night Raw? I got the story, and I'll give you what I want and what I think is going to happen right here on Off the Script. It is your Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. Seth Rollins and the injury is legit. Where did it happen? It happened on the Coast to Coast at Crown Jewel in his match with Cody Rhodes towards the tail end of the match. Don't know why Rollins at this stage of his career is even attempting a Coast to Coast, especially a headbutt Coast to Coast. A Coast to Coast in general is not really a move that it looks great, but it's not beneficial to one's long-term health. Let's put it that way. He did it. He came down awkwardly on his left shoulder. If you guys saw on Monday Night Raw, he was basically this. He was holding his arm in this position, upright, under his baggy, very over-the-top clothing. He had this huge jacket on, and it almost looked like he was wearing an arm sling through most of Monday Night Raw. Now, he did come out for the main event segment without an arm sling, and his arms were just normal. But there was a segment on Monday Night Raw where Paul Heyman touched him, and he kind of winced, almost as if Paul Heyman didn't know in that moment, and the injury kind of felt real in that moment. He winced as if it hurt him. These little things lined up. I kind of made a determination that I don't think that we're being fooled here. I think this is a legitimate injury. It sucks because Rollins was on a great run as World Heavyweight Champion, though it did get boring, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But the end of Monday Night Raw saw Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman, shocking betrayal by his own faction, turning on Seth Rollins. The vision is no more, at least Seth Rollins. Vision is no more. Now, this was reportedly not a long-term planned storyline, but a creative decision necessitated by a legitimate injury to Seth Rollins. According to a new report from PW Insider Elite, this is a paid subscription, folks, there is a belief within WWE that Rollins may be heading for either shoulder surgery or rotator cuff surgery to repair the damage he sustained in his match against Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel for the Crown Jewel Championship. The report states that while some within WWE have a wait-and-see stance on Rollins, fabricated injury storylines from earlier this year, others believe that it once again is a fake, while others are believing that this situation is legitimate. Those who believe the injury is real have pointed to the fact that the turn on Rollins happened very early in the Vision's run and that it has seemingly taken major money-making matches against CM Punk and Roman Reigns off the table, at least for the time being. One higher up acknowledged to PW Insider that Rollins was hurt, but at the time, no one knew the full details. Now, we didn't know the full details, or at least at that point, what we thought was a legitimate injury when he wrestled LA Knight on July 12th. Nobody really divulged any information. Everybody was very tight-lipped, and they're being very tight-lipped now. Granted that he was in Australia and needs to make his way back to the States to get further evaluated. There is that long flight back home that we didn't have with the LA Knight situation, but it is still tight-lipped now. So we don't have any information, though the situation is a little different. The fact that it's still tight-lipped now the way that it is, obviously it's going to give off the perception that maybe this is once again a ruse, that this is a fake injury, and that they're going to do the same thing and let CM Punk's guard down, pretend that Rollins is all by himself, and then unleash another member or an even nastier version of the Vision to take care of CM Punk, who thinks he's got the World Championship match one-on-one with Rollins, and then he doesn't at Saturday night's main event. Sounds a little redundant and sounds a little bit same old, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But there is a reason why people do not believe this is a legitimate injury. Some people don't think so. Some people do think it's a legitimate injury. Now, nothing has been officially announced by the company, nor has there been any acknowledgement of what this means for the World Heavyweight Championship, if it's going to remain on Rollins and he's going to fight through this injury, or if they are going to need to vacate the championship and find a new champion. Rollins is believed to have injured his left shoulder in the main event against Cody Rhodes with the coast-to-coast headbutts. Now, the injury is thought to have occurred during the coast-to-coast. He was seen wearing a sling in a photo with a fan that went viral on social media before Monday Night Raw. This fan had ice cream and saw Rollins walking the streets of Perth and decided to take a picture with this young fellow, which further fueled the injury speculation. Now, Rollins did the same thing. I mean, he was in Davenport with his family, or wherever he was, walking down the street on crutches with his daughter right next to him, with Becky Lynch seemingly filming it. So it wouldn't be the first time Rollins is out and about in public with an arm sling or a cast or a crutch, just to play off the fact that he is hurt, or in this case, not hurt. The on-screen angle where Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed attacked him and aligned with Paul Heyman was a dramatic way to write him off television so he could recover. The silver lining to the situation, as noted by some in the report from PW Insider, is the opportunity now is to push Breakker and Reed to the moon with Heyman as their mouthpiece, a move that could shake up the current creative doldrums in the WWE. To be fair, WWE has seemingly righted the ship for now, just a little bit better on Monday night. The last 4 weeks have been really solid as far as storytelling. SmackDown needs to catch up. Friday's SmackDown was very good. Too early to tell if they are really truly turning a corner with this new creative shakeup over there, adding more people around Road Dogg on the creative team there. 1 week is not enough. We'll assess that situation, give it about a month or so, month and a half to really determine if SmackDown is really making the proper changes needed to turn that ship around. So for now, the wrestling world awaits an official update on the condition of Seth Rollins and the World Heavyweight Championship and what the future holds for the title going into 2026. It does make Monday Night Raw that much more watchable now. I didn't get a sense of, oh my God, I got to watch Raw. They ended with a cliffhanger, a very good one on Monday, and now I'm excited to see what the future holds and how these questions get answers on Monday night. So that's a feeling I don't think many of us have felt in a very long time, and I'm excited that WWE did give us this angle. There is a silver lining. That silver lining is I haven't felt excitement to watch Monday Night Raw in many, many, many months following something like this. So we will definitely see what happens on Monday. They should be giving us at least some answers on Monday. In addition, Dave Meltzer, according to Dave Meltzer, there is a significant skepticism within the WWE locker room about the legitimacy of this new injury stemming from a fabricated injury storyline with LA Knight going into SummerSlam and pulling off the ruse of the century to win the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk. Meltzer says they were told it was from an injury in the match with Cody. But after being told his other injury was legit, and then obviously finding out it was all fabricated, many are not fully believing anything right now. The other injury is a storyline injury that WWE used to explain Rollins' absence from television before his surprise return and Money in the Bank cash-in at SummerSlam. The angle was so reportedly well protected that it fooled a lot of people in the WWE. Now with Rollins once again on the shelf with a legitimate injury, or what many believe is a legitimate injury, we don't really know yet, confirmed, WWE is reportedly struggling to convince its own talent that the situation is real. In the attempt to work everyone, the lack of trust right now is pretty high, Dave Meltzer reported. A lot of people have wanted some excitement in WWE. A lot of people have wanted a shakeup in WWE where things are kind of turned upside down and we get a little dose of unpredictability. The one narrative that a lot of people have run with all year, including me, because it is true, and you definitely see it and you definitely feel it, Triple H is safe. He is too safe. Storylines either go way too long and get dragged out way too long and people lose their interest, or people are looking at storylines that end in rapid-fire fashion, or in worst-case scenarios, they start something, drop it, and move completely on to something else. There's no in-between with this company. It's either too long or too little or dropped. In AEW, it's either no storyline and random matches or a long storyline, and they don't know where to go with the long storyline. They don't know how to tell long-term storytelling. Both companies have a major problem telling stories. Both companies have a major problem fleshing out stories. One does too little, the other does too much. I like this for the simple fact that it's unpredictable. In a perfect world, do I want Rollins injured? No, I don't. I don't want Rollins injured. I thought Rollins, as the centerpiece of Raw, I don't want to say it was working, but that's a top name, a top talent, one of their top guys now down. For how long, we don't know. He could miss WrestleMania. And the rumor was that WWE was positioning him in a world championship match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which is something that I've been advocating for. Rollins and the Vision was never the long-term plan. No matter how many people want to sit there and say it was, it wasn't. This was a favor owed to Seth Rollins via a storyline that materialized into a faction that Paul Heyman never genuinely felt like he was a part of. It was more of a, you do for me and I do for you. It was a partnership via, what's the right word to use? Necessity. Rollins needed something from Heyman. Heyman needed something from Rollins. Rollins wanted to be like Roman Reigns and be the top guy, and without Paul Heyman, I don't know how he could achieve that. He wanted everything Roman had. Basically what the storyline was. He wanted his own bloodline. He had his wise man, his oracle. And this was all born out of necessity. You do for me, I do for you. It was basically about Punk and Roman. Paul Heyman betrayed Roman Reigns by walking CM Punk down the aisle at WrestleMania, and then he ended up betraying both of them to join Seth Rollins. A favor was done for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Then he added Bron Breakker on the Raw after Mania. Everybody was excited about that because the future is so bright for Bron Breakker. Everybody sees it. Even the blind man sees it. WWE knows it. They've been telling you and teasing you for months now. Future WrestleMania main event. He's going to main event the next 10 WrestleManias. Yes, we understand that. There's no better time than now to start that. Then they added Bronson Reed, and the group really never clicked. It never clicked. And it never clicked with Seth Rollins at the helm. He's not in a position. He's not capable, in my opinion, to lead a group. Now, him with Becky should work. I don't know what they do when he comes back. I don't want to see him as a babyface. I think he's a better heel. than he is a babyface. I think Becky's doing some tremendous work, probably the best work of her career. Keep them as a heel couple. Rollins should not come back and be a babyface. I think that's ridiculous. Have him come back and be a heel. You could still do his hatred for Roman Reigns and his hatred for CM Punk and all that nonsense. You could still play that out. People could still sing his song. He doesn't need to be a full-blown babyface. It's not going to work. But he's not the guy to lead a group. He's also not the guy. WWE, no matter how many times they want to push Rollins in the top spots or top role, no matter how many times they want to give him a championship, Rollins is not the guy. He cannot be the guy. He will never be the guy with Roman Reigns still the face of the company. Roman has taken a very reduced schedule. He works 4 or 5 matches a year. He is still the face of the company. I don't give a shit how over Cody Rhodes and CM Punk are. Roman Reigns is still the face of the company. In my honest opinion, Roman Reigns is in that John Cena spot. When John Cena went away for a little bit and worked very sporadically, rarely, until John Cena retired, I felt like John Cena was the true face still of the WWE. As long as his name was attached to WWE in some way, he was still the face of the company. Roman was never going to be the face. Now, Roman has been the face of the company with the Bloodline story over the last 4 years, and now that John Cena is officially retiring on December 13th, Roman Reigns is undoubtedly the face of the company. He has been, but now he's going to be the face of the company all by himself. Then there's Cody Rhodes. And then arguably, you could put either CM Punk or Seth Rollins there in the number 3 or number 4 spot, depending on how you feel. I would probably go CM Punk and then Seth Rollins. So the moral of the story is Seth Rollins is the world's heavyweight champion, and he doesn't feel like a top guy more so than the other guys. Roman has no belt. Punk has no belt. Cody's the WWE champion, and he sits at number 2 behind Roman. Seth Rollins is the world's heavyweight champion for now, and he sits more than likely behind CM Punk. He is the bridesmaid and never the bride. Or what someone in my chat on Monday said was the Randy Savage to Hulk Hogan. He's never going to be the top guy. And that has nothing to do with Rollins' ability and his in-ring work and his character and the way he tells a story. He is incredible. He's just not the top guy. There are guys that are fucking great that just wrestle in the wrong era at the wrong time with the wrong roster. It's just one of those moments. Nothing offensive against Seth Rollins, nothing derogatory towards Seth Rollins, nothing disrespectful towards Seth Rollins. It's just an avid viewer on what he sees, and he's giving you his opinion. That's how I feel. What do we do with the vision now that Rollins theoretically is hurt? I don't know how we crown a new WWE champion. CM Punk is already the WWE World Heavyweight Champion #1 contender here. He's got a match coming up, whether it's Saturday night's main event or Survivor Series. I would presume that it's Saturday night's main event. Bron Breakker held up the belt at the end of the show. You know he's going to be involved. You know that he is going to project himself into that scene. Maybe we have another match. Maybe we have a gauntlet. Maybe we have a battle royal. Maybe we have a mini tournament of sorts. Triple H loves his little mini triple threat tournaments. We get 2 triple threat matches with the winner meeting next week on Raw for the #1 contendership to go wrestle CM Punk for the World's Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. If it ends up being Breakker and Punk, which is a marquee match at this stage of the game, it's a match that everybody would love to see. If that match is the main event of Saturday night's main event, not only do I give Breakker the WWE World Heavyweight Championship over CM Punk, because me personally, I don't want to see CM Punk as the World Heavyweight Champion. I think that's just kind of, you give him the belt and then what? Like, I feel like it needs to be a little bit more ceremonious for CM Punk. Breakker beats Punk with the help of another added new member. Because I want the vision to continue. I want it to be Paul Heyman's vision, which theoretically it was. Seth Rollins was just a leader, a figurehead by name, but Paul Heyman, let's be real, was running the operation. Paul Heyman always thought that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker were 2 guys that he could attach himself to as the future of the company. That's what he's about. He's looking for the next big thing. These two could really fall in line to be the next big thing in WWE. That's what Heyman does. He's a leech. He just attaches himself to the fucking youngest guy, the brightest guy, and the up-and-coming guy. So why not add more up-and-coming guys to the Vision? Or whatever you want to call it now. The Dangerous Alliance or whatever Paul Heyman comes up with. Whatever he's going to do, I trust his ability to tell a story and bring us from point A now to point B. Or in the aftermath of this injury, take us to where we need to go. Because he's a great mind. Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed. Maybe we start to add an Austin Theory. Maybe we call somebody up from NXT, whether it's an Ethan Page, an Obafemi. Maybe we call up a Trick Williams. Maybe we move Carmelo Hayes over to Monday Night Raw. Maybe we get him in the group. There's a lot of young talent on this show. Ilya Dragunov's coming back. Maybe he comes and is integrated into the group and he's looking all dapper in his black suit. I don't know. There's a lot of youthful talent on Monday night. In WWE in general, you are not going to have a problem adding another two young guys in this group to stand alongside Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. What does that mean for War Games? Well, if you add two more people to the group, which I hope that they do, and they keep the Vision intact, just led by Paul Heyman now and not Seth Rollins, and then you add Brock Lesnar, who has a loose affiliation to Paul Heyman anyway, that would be 5. Now, you don't need 5. 4, you could do a War Games, but 5 is what they've been going with. So if you add an Austin Theory, you add somebody else, and then you attach Brock Lesnar to them, and he's that insurance policy to ensure everything is going to go the way Paul Heyman wants, you can still do War Games. Roman Reigns, the Usos, CM Punk, LA Knight. You got your 5 there. War Games, to me, still should go on the way that it was planned with the characters that we've seen battle division all year. To not do it would be creative malpractice. This is what you've built. I mean, a fucking dummy could see it. This is what you've built all year towards. To not do it would be stupid. To not do it because one guy is injured out of 10, that's ridiculous. And nobody wants to see the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six in a fucking War Games. Nobody. You could do that in a traditional Survivor Series element, elimination style, which would be great. I'd love for them to bring that back. But nobody is clamoring to see the MFTs in the War Games cage with the Wyatt Six. So yeah, you could do War Games with the people and the plans that you had, no matter if Rollins is there or not. That's what I do. So I want to see the Vision continue under Paul Heyman's leadership and under Paul Heyman's tutelage. I want to see Paul Heyman add youth to the Vision because the show needs youth. The show needs an injection of youth. It is time. The show has gotten very formulaic with the same cast of characters. We need a fucking shakeup. We need to take this show and dump it on its head. How do you do that? And how do you generate excitement? How do you get a buzz for the fan base again? You inject youth, people who you want to see ascend the heights of WWE. What are we waiting for? Bronson Reed is ready. Bron Breakker is ready. People have been clamoring to see Austin Theory get a fucking spot. He's too good to be sitting on the sidelines. Trick Williams has got it. Obafemi, people want to see. Ethan Page has fucking transformed himself in NXT. Ricky Saints is the NXT champion. There is a lot of youth there. Use it. Instead of using the old guard, let's move on to the new generation and use the new generation, mixing it up with the cast of characters you built all the way through 2025 to lead up to this moment and have those guys put the young kids over. That's how the business works. That's how the business stays exciting. That's what I would do. Yes, I'm putting the World Championship on Bron Breakker. If you don't think he's ready yet, you haven't been watching the show. And then you easily go into WrestleMania. Bron Breakker's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And you give us a match of Bron Breakker versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. WWE hasn't done that match yet, but they have fucking teased it time after time after time. If they wait and they give it to us at WrestleMania for the first time, imagine how big it'll be then. The wait, where everybody wanted it to take place now, the wait will be well worth it, and it's going to be even bigger then than it is now. CM Punk, I would move him over to SmackDown. I have Punk win the Rumble. I have Punk challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Your main events for night 1 and night 2. Roman Reigns, Bron Breakker for the World Heavyweight Championship, and CM Punk, Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. That's what I'm doing. Those are your 2 main events for WrestleMania. Hopefully WWE has a solid plan. This is exciting, and I always look forward to seeing how WWE operates, man. When they have their backs against the wall and something like this happens and it comes out of nowhere and they're really struggling to find a situation to right the ship and fit the pieces in the puzzle correctly now, when something unexpected happens, this is when they usually do their best. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. But to say this is a bad thing, no, this is a net positive here. This is going to give us unpredictability. This is going to take Triple H out of his safe zone, and this is going to get us a little bit more of that feeling to want to watch Monday Night Raw because we don't know what's going to happen. What is Breakker going to do? What's the championship match at Saturday night's main event going to be? Who's going to be the next World Heavyweight Champion? Is the Vision going to continue? Is War Games still on? Are they going to add new members? Is Paul Heyman now leading the... There's a lot of great questions that are going to make you stand up and say, you know what? I got to watch Raw. Why anybody's looking at this as a bad thing, I don't know. Now, if Rollins misses WrestleMania, that sucks. That sucks. Not worried about that. I just wish he gets back, and hopefully he takes the proper way forward to stop doing stuff that he doesn't really need to be doing. I mean, we thought he was hurt the first time. Now he's really hurt. So hopefully we see what happens on Monday. We have that big looming question of what's next. We need the Vision to continue for War Games' sake. And then the World Heavyweight Championship, I would put it on Bron Breakker. I would have him beat CM Punk. And then I would actually take that and kind of let that play it out inside War Games. The Vision, Paul Heyman's Vision versus the babyfaces here. Punk and Roman Reigns have obviously a history with Paul Heyman. They want to get their revenge on Paul Heyman. LA Knight wants revenge on the Vision. And then you got the Usos. Then you got the story there of the Usos and Roman, the Usos and LA Knight. Can they even coexist? Then you add Lesnar to the mix. He's got history with all of them. So I think it's a net positive. It's something that should be looked at as an exciting, good thing instead of it being, oh my God, Rollins is hurt. Now what? There is a lot of things that they could do, and nobody should be looking at this as a bad thing. Thank you guys very much for your support. If you guys did enjoy today's little mini session here, little podcast, make sure you guys go and check out the rest of the content. Please leave me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. What would you do to right the ship now that Rollins may legitimately be injured? What would you do, and what plans would you have for War Games in the World Heavyweight Championship? Sound off in the comment section below. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn the bell for notifications. And please go and check out the rest of the content. We have been on fire with content every single day for the last week and a half. Make sure you guys go check all that stuff out, all on the homepage for you right there. I'll be live tonight with Jesse for the AEW Dynamite and, unfortunately, Collision post-show, because it's 3 hours tonight right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.